Welcome to the Emerging Lawyer series at the Coffee Conversation Show, powered by the Emerging India Forum TIF and a tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Theme is the legal side of AI and media protecting innovation. We have with us Girish Bhatia, Senior Associate at RNA Technology and IP Attorneys. Artificial intelligence and commercial contracts with over 6 years of experience working across industries like media, fintech, hospitality, FMCG. Girish brings a unique blend of business acumen and legal expertise to the table. From tackling counterfeit issues to navigating the legal landscape of NFTs, AI, he is at the forefront of innovation in law. Join us as we discuss the evolving world of IP, emerging legal challenges in tech, bridging business and law. Welcome to today's coffee conversation.
Thanks.
So there are three rounds: professional, personal, and fun round. So after this we complete, we'll take your experience sharing. So let us begin. So friends, I'm Lain Amir Virani, host at Coffee Conversation and legal tech evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution. We help law firms, corporate legal startups, SMEs with world-class technology, software licensing, and tech training solutions. So my first question: what inspired you to specialize in intellectual property law? Was there a defining moment?
So with regards to, thank you firstly for hosting me here, and this has been a grateful experience. My journey with regards to IP has been great. I fondly recall that I was a part of when my internship in law school days, specifically back in 2016, when I was a part of intellectual property rights, and that was my specialization. I joined the firm named as Intel Advocate. So that was a stepping stone in my career, which was the first time when I was a part of IP boutique firm. Although the concept of intellectual property was very new to me, however, when I soon realized that I had been engaging with these products unknowingly or knowingly, I can see the products, I can sense the products around me. That was something which interested me in choosing IP in my career. I remain grateful to the mentors who have helped me or assisted me and been very patient with me in order to understand, in order to help me understand the complexity of IP. However, that was a defining moment when I could relate to the products, I could relate to the services that I deal with as a consumer. So that is something post internship I've realized that I would love to take forward.
Wow. Okay. Girish, the counterfeit industry is a growing concern. What legal measures do companies need to adopt to combat this issue effectively?
So this has been a very interesting question, sir, that I have been asked a couple of times, wherein with regards to how to deal with counterfeit. My only advice in the current times would be that companies don't look into the legal strategy a lot when they talk about IP. IP is still at the back burner for some markets. However, some industries do keep IP as one of the key as a key goal or concern for them. They should utilize customs recordation, which is very important in a world like current, wherein you have a lot of transportation which is going imported and exported. So that is something which is growing and taking a charge in the current times. When there's a lot of business outside India, there's a lot of business in India. Custom pays a way to lot many things at the end of the day for an IP perspective. Apart from that, sir, my only the second advice that I usually give with regards to the e-commerce platform. Now, the giants of e-commerce giants have played a very important role in defining the last decade of India as a consumer, as a market, as a supporting partner. All these particular e-commerce platforms have a different approach when they talk about IP. Now, when I talk about IP on e-commerce platform, it is very important that the markets have shifted from local consumers to fast-moving goods, fast-moving sites, wherein 10 minutes delivery is not just a goal; it's a deliverable at the end of the day. So these particular actions on e-commerce platform, keeping an eye on e-commerce platform, this is something that one needs to look at. So very recently, obviously, the older activities, the orthodox approach is still prevailing today. However, the involvement of customs, however, the involvement of the e-commerce platform have changed very recently. And at the end of the day, this work as a defining factor for any company. It may be a startup, it may be an MNC.
Wow. So, media and entertainment law is evolving rapidly. What are some of the biggest challenges brands face today when they're protecting the IP?
So media entertainment is something that I would love to focus on, because at the end of the day, this industry is surviving on the copyright and AI. Now, when we talk about AI, now I'm opening the Pandora box here when I talk about AI specifically, because artificial intelligence has a bigger role to play in this particular market, because at the end of the day, it's just changing the traditional ways how the creativity looks. Now, one question, one answer to the production, to at the end of the day, to marketing would not suffice in a media house, wherein you have scripts. AI can work on your scripts at the end of the day. This is something which will be a problem in the coming generation, wherein the authenticity of that particular product or that particular script would be compromised at the end of the day. Entertainment has opened a lot many things when we talk about entertainment specifically. However, AI, until and unless we curb that particular software, because for me personally it is still a software, until unless I give it, I don't put in some feeds, this will at the end of the day will not give me result. This is not something which is working on their own. So considering media and entertainment specifically, when there are no boundaries, I can reach, I can have my movies all over the place. AI plays a very important role at the end of the day in specific to this industry, wherein the challenges are discussed. There can be challenge of copy. I can just make it copy. There's a very recent case which is happening for Chat GPT, wherein the companies are claiming that the music was taken, the article was taken at the end of the day. So the greatest challenge lies not in the infringing, however, the technical safeguards which uh, the technical actions that or safeguard that the AI will get in future, because considering the law is not that clear right now, it will have a larger impact on this industry, which is prone or which is surviving on creativity, and AI is here to end the creativity because of the number of things that it has feeded in the records.
Wow. So, Girish, you emphasize a solution oriented approach in your practice. Can you share a case where your strategic legal thinking made a significant impact?
Oh, this is interesting because this happened very recently with me, sir, when we were discussing with a startup. This was a startup who adopted a Sanskrit name with an English combination, wherein they were making some cosmetics specifically. Sorry, they were making some dietary supplements, which was a nutraceutical company. They were making a nutraceutical company. Now there was another entity who was already a big pharmaceutical company who wanted and who already registered that particular mark in class 3, which is specifically for cosmetics in the trademark terms, wherein they were manufacturing ayurvedic products. Considering the two different zones, one is for cosmetics and other one is basically dietary supplements, as in the rice supplements. Now, what happened eventually was the two giants facing each other at the end of the day. The business was very concerned because they came with a unique combination of Sanskrit and English, which was actually different from the other one. We, rather than going into the detailed discussion, we actually made them sit over the table and sort it out, because at the end of the day, the both the brands are of concern for each other party. There has to be a solution wherein, even if I am not selling the identical product, but it has long lasting effect on different classes. There are some classes which are allied and cognate, which for us also is a concern at the end of the day if the goods are way too vast. But then when the business is very clear that they don't want to venture out, eventually the MNC does not want to venture out in a different category. That makes more easier when the MNCs decide that they don't want to venture or they don't want to expand much of a business in that particular market. Settlement goes a long way, and a detailed set of settlement, a detailed set of compensation obviously led to a settlement which actually avoided a lot of cost which could have been taken by both the parties. And at the end of the day, that was a win-win situation for both of us. So I would say when we talk about solution-based approaches, it's something that it has to be a win-win from both the ends, not from the client's perspective, from the other side also, because at the end of the day, the same strategies would also be applicable on other person. So that is the tricky point wherein all the expertise comes in the picture.
Wow. So, Girish, given your experience across multiple industries, how do IP challenges differ for fintech, for FMCG, tech startups, and media entertainment?
Sure, sir. So, with regards to these particular industries, now what happens here is that a set of ethos works specifically for these industries. When I talk about fintech, there's a lot of software game which is in the picture. Now, when I talk about software, at the end of the day, it's a corporate material. Everything around that particular company revolves, and they are more relied on the third party software or their personal software so that nobody else can copy that particular thing. So their softwares are an important aspect for that business, not that trademark and that particular concept. So the technicalities in a fintech company differs because of the software. It's very difficult because you need to understand, have an understanding of how it works, and at the end of the day how that particular software will give you a result, so that there is a slight similarity in a different software will eventually lead to a bigger action. Now when I talk about brands, FMCG brands, for FMCG the major I would say the protection or IP protection for them would be a trademark, wherein the brand is surviving today on specific, I would say, a brand value, a name. Tomorrow nobody can have a Vadilal in their name. Tomorrow nobody can have a quality watch in their name. However, there might be some similarity which the people get it after a few years by making the similar product. But the trade secrets also play a very important role in such brands. So FMCG, I would say, is more oriented towards trademark, wherein they have a lot to secure on the brand value because they are playing on a brand value. When I talk about startups, tech startups, this particular entity or this particular feature works very categorically, wherein for them, for a startup in general, not a specific tech startup, for startup in general, there's a lot of legal challenges which comes initially. So they have to be more legally aligned towards the law so that at the end of the day, they don't end up infringing someone's right. So when we invest in startup tech, as in tech specifically, our first advice will always be in order to better understand before launching the business, to get a thorough check of that particular software, so that there is no infringement at the end of the day, unknowingly or knowingly. Knowingly, obviously, nobody will accept, but unknowingly, there's no infringement of any third party. So the industries have different challenges when we talk about that. Now, media has a separate challenge wherein if I'm using specific modules, where I'm specific scripts, that should not be copyrighted. Now, the idea might revolve separately for different firm, but there's no restriction on my creative freedom. There might be another person at the end of the day who has a same script but different language. So these are some challenges which work industry wise, and we need to be very sure before taking any action at the end of the day, sir.
Wow. Okay. So, Girish, recently you wrote on LinkedIn on the branding guidelines by the ministry. So, if a startup founder wants to protect their brand from day one, what are the guidelines he has to follow, or the top three legal steps a startup founder should take according to the branding guidelines issued?
So my first advice to any brand, to any startup, even if it's a colleague, even if it's a client, would be to come up with a unique name. Now, unique name plays a very important role because that's my creativity and I cannot allow anyone to use that name. That is something which goes for a long, and I want why Puma is Puma today. Why Helion is Helion today? Why there's a Red Bull only one? Because at the end of the day, someone would have thought to take a unique name in the market. So it's better to have a unique name which solves a lot of problems after some time. So my first advice will always be in order to have a strong brand. Your branding on your name should be very important, which should not be a common thing, because I cannot, the whole perspective of any brand is that you should have a monopoly over your creativity. Now, I cannot be very creative if I use a name which is a dictionary term. That is something which will not give me individual rights. So apart from that, first advice, second advice would be it's better to conduct a detailed search. When I initiate the process, it actually involves a lot of money for me. It might be a government fees, it might be professional fees, it might be 10 other fees. The startups specifically are hesitant to invest in a comprehensive detailed search. With detailed search, you actually get an idea as to what needs to be done, as in what should be the right strategy to get the particular mark accepted and registered. A small investment will save a lot of money in future. That would be my second advice. And third, obviously, would be please start enforcing your brands. Just because I am a smaller brand, I don't have much money to spend on my branding. That should not take away my right to enforce my brand. There can be another party. For example, if I'm doing business in Jammu and Kashmir, that does not allow someone in Kerala to use my brand for similar products or for similar services. That is something that I should, as a brand owner, secure my rights from, because I cannot allow at the end of the day someone to use my brand. So it is, if I conclude this particular point, it would be first to adopt a name which is very unique if possible. The second is to conduct a detailed search wherein I actually have an idea as to uh, if that will save a lot of money for me going forward, because I will have an idea how much percentage wise I have a security in this particular name. And third will be the enforcement, sir.
Wow. Okay. So, Girish, who has influenced you professionally, personally, and what are the key learnings?
So my key learnings, obviously, it's basically a mix of different people who have contributed towards this particular journey. When I say influence, there have been times where my mentors have influenced me, because I look up to my mentors at the end of the day in the profession. So, being a first generation lawyer, that was something, I was a misguided missile, I would say, who knew where to fire, but at the end of the day, there was no path. So I look up to the mentors who have trained me, who have shared the ethos with me, wherein they have told me what needs to be done, what is not to be done in this particular. In my own practice, if I say professionally, there are mentors who have actually taught me the patience and perseverance are essential, and then obviously the right advice and the right approach in the career. The one advice that I've been given by one of the mentors, I would like to share, that is that be honest to your practice and be honest to your time. At the end of the day, this will come back someday. So with that particular line, that has actually took me a lot of time to understand this professionally, but now when I understand, when I look back, this is something I would love to carry in future, because this goes a long way in profession, sir.
Wow. So, Girish, what's one conversation that you had with entrepreneurs, innovators, startup founders uh, that has left a lasting impact related to intellectual property conversations?
So when I talk about IP, I think it's a very common factor that that I've noted during my conversation, is that IP people do understand IP. They do understand the layman terms when I talk about branding. When I talk about that, what is their creative? They are very energetic when they talk about this. However, the strategic asset, which is to be considered very important, that is which is lacking with the companies and with the startups right now. I would say there is no guiding light for them to understand that how to protect it, but they're very eager to protect it. Now, when I talk about the discussions and when I talk about the lasting impact that I've recently had a word with, is that there was this one founder I was talking to specifically. He was very okay. He was okay in having losses in the business, but that one software he was not ready to give up. So he was very resilient towards that particular software, because he knew that this particular software will do wonders for him. He took some crowdfunding. He pitched in for some before some investors. However, that particular, I've seen that resilience in that person, that particular person took a long way. He went a long way for me, because at the end of the day, he didn't give up on the idea. He knew that this is creative. So that one learning has been a game changer for me, wherein I have seen that hustle in that particular individual, wherein if you know you are right, then you are right. There's no looking back. Obviously, then the learnings that obviously he has shared with me are a learning factor, because in this industry, it's better to be a learner. So I've learned a lot from him as a person, as a professional. I have some applied some things on my professional career as well. But that resilience is something that I would love to achieve, where in that you go all guns blazing if you trust your idea, if you trust your knowledge.
Wow. So, Girish, you have been actively involved in legal awareness programs. What's a common misconception people have about IP law?
As I said, sir, people are aware about brands, but they're not aware of the fact that you need to secure your brand. This is not like any other asset that you will have a paper in your hand, or you will have a asset which you can see. So the misconception is that I've been very creative, but I don't know how to secure it. Is there a way to secure it or not? I have a small business. If you see around us, sir, you see Instagram, you see Facebook, there are so many people around us who are running small businesses. But these businesses are run out of passion, not from a business perspective, but they are run out of passion. Now, tomorrow, there have been people who were actually running a great bakery shop, as in through online bakery, through Instagram. They had good clients. I mean, they are making good amount of money. However, they didn't realize that this particular asset, which is actually initiated out of passion for them, has a goodwill attached to it. So they never thought of that way. They just relied on their taste, and they told me that we can use any other branding. But that perception, that thought process, when you change this particular thing, is the change we require in the industry and we require in India right now, sir. Wherein your passion is actually your asset. That realization, self realization, is something that we need to deliver, and that I've been trying my best to spread in the market, wherein uh, they need to understand at the end of the day that the passion is building brand for them.
Wow. So, AI is playing a bigger role in contract drafting, legal research. So, how is it impacting the work for IP?
So I would say IP, I mean, the procedural part is something that the AI cannot help to my limited understanding, because that is, you still need a human intervention. I mean, there are too many honorable judges of the Delhi High Court that I've interacted in the past, when they've been very clear on the fact that this can just be a supportive arm to your knowledge. In the industry, wherein a legal industry specifically, not only IP, in the legal industry, you still need an emotional touch. So till the time AI does not have that emotional touch, there is no support. I can just make my work quick. That's it. For me as an industry expert, or that for me as a legal professional, it's just making my documents quicker. But when I do a thorough search, when I put myself in the shoes of the assigner, assignee, or the parties, both the parties, I need to have a in-depth understanding of the business. I need to have an in-depth understanding of what are we looking at from this agreement. With this particular thing, AI is something which is still difficult to find answers for, because they are making a job easier. They're not giving an any emotional decisions. They're not taking any emotional decisions for you. They are actually not giving you a yes or no or legally right answers. Now, if you see, sir, there's a disclaimer which goes in any legal opinions. Please consult, please consult an advocate, or please consult XYZ for any of the legal or in-depth legal advice, because we understand. And even the AI, when you see the software recently, they are here to stay, but they are here to make your job easier and not to take away your job, because emotional factor and the legal acumen is something which is still missing. I can read the act, I can ask AI to read the act for me. But at the end of the day, if that act is not being merged with a different law, which obviously will be beneficial for me in the court of law, it's of good no use specifically, sir.
Wow. Okay. So, my last question will be, how do you see the role of an IP lawyer evolving in the next decade?
So this question was recently asked to me in one of the panels, wherein my one line answer was the next decade is for IP lawyers. Why I say this, the technicalities, the challenges, and the creativity that one needs to see is something which will go a long way for an IP lawyer. We are more creative. We have become more creative in the solutions. We have become more enthusiastic with regards to AI because there's something new to learn for us as well. We just not only want to use AI to make a job easy, but we want to also make sure that this particular next generation or this next decade, wherein AI will play a very important role, needs to have some boundaries to it. Considering the cross-border IP infringement, it may be a trend like Ghibli art. Obviously, for me, most of my friends use Ghibli art, which was something new. Nobody thought of that particular till the last year. That something came as a wave, and last 2 months have been Ghibli art all over the place. But nobody went and nobody bothered to go on Chat GPT and see specifically that one condition which says that can we utilize this particular data for upgrading a knowledge or so. Now the second point is, if I am concerned as an IP lawyer, I personally didn't make a Ghibli art for myself. But what about my friends? What about my close friends who have this FOMO? The IP lawyer actually will have a difficult time of FOMO, which is obviously a very Gen Z term. They will have a FOMO. They'll be fighting the FOMO, wherein AI is here to stay. AI is here to actually take away too much of information from the consumers. But as an IP lawyer, we are not just legally responsible to the community, but as a consumer, it's our duty also to educate them. So the next decade belongs to IP lawyer with the involvement of or with the advancement of technology, which is growing rapidly now, sir.
Oh, beautiful. Yes, there've been more Ghiblis coming up,
Yes, sir.
shaking the industry.
Agreed, sir.
Yeah,
Sorry, sir.
we are having a conversation with one of the cyber lawyers. He said, "कि भाई, uh, people are eh, giving cyber hackers a free day where there will be a lot of scams and a lot of mayhem in the next decade, and there will be a lot of work for the IP lawyers."
Yes, sir. I'll share you with you an experience which happened with me very recently. Last week, I was just going through LinkedIn and I saw too many posts on the Aadhaar
Hmm.
card and the US green card. Now, out of curiosity, as a lawyer, I thought just let's just try Chat GPT once. To my surprise, I just gave the details Girish Bhatia and the basic, except Girish Bhatia, nothing was genuine from my end. The software asked for a photo. I didn't provide the photo, but somehow that photo appeared on the Aadhaar card, not for me, but someone else. Can I be sure that this person is actually a real person? What if someone would have created a Ghibli art of this particular man? Now this image is on a template Aadhaar card. What is the authenticity of this particular thing? So there's a lot. I would say cyber security, obviously, cyber threat is going to increase a lot in the coming decade because of the amount of data the people or consumers are giving. I mean, obviously, as a legal person, I'm still educated enough to understand how it works or how how to avoid a FOMO. But what about the parents? What about my friends who are not from legal background? They
Hmm.
just love it and they just force you to take it at the end of the day. So that is something I mentioned earlier, that we are tackling the FOMO of consumers. Technology, obviously, that is on a different front, but the FOMO of leaking out information at the end of the day with IP, with tech, with cyber frauds is going to increase, sir.
So media is also to be blamed. Every day, news feeds of Ghibli are coming up in their news feeds, and they're getting, what do you say, uh, means uh, giving them, कि, "Bhai, please go and try it out." So every day, if you get something on your news feed, you will finally go and upload your image and see, yeah, how I am looking in a Ghibli art, and
Agreed, sir.
give lot of, yeah, what do you say, facial images to ChatGPT or the
Indeed, yes.
AI. So the media is also to be one of, or ChatGPT is paying to get to promote Ghibli.
Obviously, sir, the algorithm works that way. I am not aware of how actually there's an if there is an agreement between the parties or not. However, the algorithm is working that. The algorithm works on two different things. One is the amount what is actually going on around you. At the end of the day, what is going around you is something the trend that they follow. Write the trend, write the time. The algorithm is working that way. You start looking at one thing, there'll be 10 other things which will actually follow. This is basically a very interesting thing of dark patterns, sir. Now, not many people, sorry, I'm just running away from the topic of
No,
IP
no,
and
no.
AI, but this dark pattern has been a very underlying topic in the industry, sir. And coming from cyber law, I mean, pretty sure that many people are fighting against against the dark patterns, wherein you tend to get the same information which you are thinking at the end of the day, because you would have seen, you would have typed something on your phone. These patterns push the recent trend on your feet, and they make you, or they indirectly force you to get into the circle and get into the trend. So there was a very interesting study about the dark patterns which were recently published by ASCI, which is the Advertising Council. How the dark patterns and what are the different dark patterns which are used in the recent times, wherein they actually discuss, they actually talk about the different dark patterns which are used in the industry right now on social media and e-commerce. It's a very interesting study, sir.
Oh, interesting. Another topic. Okay, let's go to next round and understand Girish as a person. Tell us about your family and your formative years.
Sure, sir. I come from a very close knit family, which has always been a family which has an approach towards life, a positive approach towards life. I would say, wherein the education, the integrity, the hard work has been the on the top of everything, sir. When I talk about the formative years, where I shaped myself as a first generation lawyer with a sense of discipline and empathy, that is something that was imbibed in me from my childhood, because there have been some relations in past which came from my army background specifically. That is something that when I go back to the army quarters at the end of the day with some of my relatives, that is something that discipline is the most is something which is followed under the three men, sir. So Girish, as a person, when I talk about as a family, these particular things take a lot of time. They have imbibed in me, and Greece, what is today is because of all these uh, features. I would say the things which have been imbibed in me, sir.
Wow. So let's go to your college days, Amity. How did it help in shaping your career?
So, sir, Amity has been a foreground of, I would say, a learning for me, wherein I have been a part of too many national moot competitions, which not only gave me a platform to test my legal skills, but my drafting skills and my leadership skills, wherein I was the head of too many members, too many committees. I was hosting the events specifically to the legal background. So that has something which has pushed me as a personal or a professional human. Obviously, the knowledge, the faculties were kind enough to be patient with me, where I was running here and there for the competitions and traveling different cities for the competition. They were kind enough to support me. When I talked about Intel Advocate, I remember the time when the first time I received a call from the department Amity, that obviously the fact that you have been selected for an internship. So that has been the game changer, wherein that actually forced me to take IP at the end of the day, and I give a lot of credit to the faculty members and the college, which has helped me to be what I am today, sir, in IP.
Wow. So who's the biggest cheerleader from your friends and family?
So when I talk about the biggest cheerleader, I would say that's my dad itself. Obviously, I look up to him when I talk about the different arenas, when I talk about the different genres that he has worked in past, and what all ethos that he follows in his life, sir. I've seen a man who means business, who means hard work, who means empathy. So I give a lot of credit to my dad, wherein I come from business class family, wherein he has told me what business means. He has told me what the time means. He has told me what the clients mean. He has helped me to understand how the business thinks. So being a having that business acumen has something which has worked for me, and some basic qualities which will never change till the time I'm alive. So
Yeah. So, what are your hobbies or creative pursuits which helps you to refresh, rejuvenate?
this is something which is way too different from the legal that I share and the people that who know me. I've been a dancer in my school and college days. So I love to dance a lot. I've been very creative since my school and college days. So that is something that I now, when I look back, is the creativity has now converted from dancing or the treks to being an IP lawyer, which is completely a creative field, sir. So when I need some time, I travel a lot on weekends, sir. That is something which gives me peace. That is something which gets me back to life. That is something which gives me a break in life, sir.
Um, So, what's one book or movie which has influenced you, impacted you, and what were the learnings?
So I don't typically invest a lot of time in books, movies, or I would say the documentaries. I love to study the environment, sir. Not the environment, I say the personal or the people that are surrounded I'm surrounded with. That is something that has a great impact to understand. I remember when I was in Mumbai for quite some time. I used to travel by the Mumbai local, sir. There's a
Mhm.
lot to learn about life. There's a lot to learn about how people function in a Mumbai local, sir. I'm pretty sure that most of us know that the Bombay local is or the Mumbai local is not that good enough. But there's a learning, there's a story attached to everything. That discussions, that story, that particular anger, that calmness, that struggle. There's a lot to learn from the environment, sir, and these people help you to shape yourself in future. So when you start reading people, when you start reading or analyzing people around you, that will obviously for me has been a game changer wherein I've studied how people react. I've studied how they react in different situations, what are the decisions, how they keep themselves calm. So that struggle has helped me to understand and uh, pay path for me in the future.
Uh, so, what are your plans for 2025 personally and professionally?
When I talk about personal and professional plan has been very clear for 2025, wherein last December 2024, I had a surgery, not a major, but a minor surgery, which actually played an important role in changing things for me professionally as well. Wherein I decided just to give it all at the end of the day to the industry that I'm working for, because that comes with not only post surgery, but I know the fact that the teaching that my mentors have given over the years is that you need to be a ray of light or guiding light for someone. In an industry like this, you need some supporting hand at the end of the day, wherein there will be times where the person will give up, there'll be no way out in the market, and you will feel helpless and all alone. So personally and professionally, both I've decided that I will try my best to reach out as many people as I can to help them to understand what law is, how the industry works, what is IP law. If they want any friendly assistance, I'm there always. But I wish to be right there, because in an industry which is very demanding, you need a friend who is there to assist you. If I was not guided correctly by my mentors, I would not been here specifically for this show as well. So I would have been just a part of an audience. So that is something I want to give it back to industry, so that my colleague who are coming, who are choosing the younger brothers and sisters who want to join this particular industry, I'm happy to assist them, sir.
Wow. So, my last one is a googly one. Describe Girish in one line.
This one is, I would say, a bit difficult. I mean, uh, giving a brief about Girish, I would say that Girish is somewhat a dynamic and a solution-oriented professional with a passion for not only IP but yeah, law in general, which is driven by some ethos, which includes the creativity, hard work, empathy, and discipline. So,
Wow.
who is there to assist? I mean, not only the companies but the people around me. So,
Beautiful. So, let's go. To the next round, the rapid fire, the fun round. Trademark or copyright?
Trademarks.
AI in law, opportunity or threat?
Opportunity.
Go to comfort food.
Pizza.
Wow. Best place in India for travel.
Sir, I am a religious person, so Katra.
Wow. Uh, Sorry. If you like to have dinner with a legal luminary, past or present, who would be?
Too many, sir. That will be a gathering itself.
Okay.
It will be a small event itself.
Uh, Favorite Punjabi food?
Chole bhature, sir. Any day.
Your early morning meetings or late night research?
Early morning meetings, sir.
Wow. Your dream travel place?
Jammu and Kashmir, sir. Every village of it, sir.
Tea or coffee to recharge?
Sorry, sir.
Tea or coffee to
Tea.
recharge?
A big time tea lover, sir. Same here, sir.
So you did
Thank you for
well.
reminding us. Actually, it was cold enough now.
So here's a book which will be autographed and sent to you. So friends, uh, it was a lovely conversation. Like Girish took us to the journey of IP and how AI will be impacting the IP law world. So it is all about research, being updated with new technology, and how drafting in every way AI will be there. So be whenever any new thing is comes up, uh, check up and don't go and take a by to play around if the news feed is showing you something new, new trends. Consult an IP lawyer or a legal friend, whoever are there. Okay, uh, because your data is then coming out in the open, and what will happen with your data, God forbid, you will never know, okay, what you will be landing in and what will happen. Because uh, Ghibli, like this, there will be many more Ghiblis which will be coming up. So protect your brands, protect yourself, take a support of Girish and other IP lawyers who are out there, or any technology law firms. And if in the future, like Girish, visit our LinkedIn page, the Emerging India Forum, or our website, the Emerging Forum, and fill in the form. Our team will invite you to have coffee conversation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for this wonderful interview, sir.